What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of History Hyenas. I'm Chris Distefano, a.k.a. Chrissy Cremini Mushrooms. With me, as always, Yannis Pappas, a.k.a. Yannis Egg-Tits.
I like to call, you can notice I've had a rough time.
What happened is now you're just wearing shirts that you're not hiding anymore.
Yeah.
You don't care.
Yeah.
Go to youtube.com/History Hyenas every single Thursday. Like and subscribe to see these titties. And patreon.com/History Hyenas.
To pay for these titties.
To pay for these titties. That's, yes.
Yeah.
So,
you've
but
noticed.
you're still handsome. But when you were walking today, I said he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, see, the thing about you're a comedian. The thing about comedians people really underestimate is we are professional noticers.
Yes.
We get paid to notice, and you have the eyes, not of a hawk, but of a woman.
Yes.
You do have the eyes. You notice slight differences in hair, slight differences in outfits.
Yes.
You looked at my shoes, which is wild. This is what a woman does.
Yeah.
He noticed right away when I saw him at the thing. He could look down. He goes, "You got nice, crisp Air Max on."
Yeah.
I didn't notice what sneakers he was wearing until he told me what sneakers he was wearing.
Yeah.
You noticed. You know what kind of week I've had based on my appearance. You know that I've fallen way off the food wagon.
Yes.
I've been having burgers. I've been having sausages. I've been drinking. I've been having tons of sweets, too many.
Right.
And you notice the evidence in my tits.
I noticed the evidence in your tits, and I noticed that your allergies were a little bad. You were a little banged up. I noticed things about you because what it is, like a woman, is I'm a healer, and I said, how can I help you? I'd like to help you, and it's what it is, and I know.
No, but you do get secret enjoyment of my downfall because you're a woman, too.
Yeah.
And women fight like that.
Yeah.
Women fight with false compliments. I love your Air Max. And then in the mind, it's going, bitch.
Yeah.
So you said you love my Air Max, but in your head, you went, bitch.
Bitch. Or like I said, don't worry, Giannis. I said, you're still handsome. But in my head, I'm saying, you're fat. You're fat. Yeah. And I noticed, too, that you had, and I put two and two together. I said, I know you had a fun weekend. I know you probably threw some brews back because you went and you had a nice weekend with the neighbors and you skipped the Jew's house and you went to the Pollock's house. Guys, go to ChristyComedy.com. I got a new hour of material. I'm on the road June 26th, 27th in Stamford, Connecticut, August 28th, 29th, Atlantic City, New Jersey. More dates coming. I love you.
Guys, catch me in Atlantic City, June 26th, 27th, East Hampton, July 10th, New Brunswick, New Jersey, July 17th and 18th, Philadelphia, August 14th and 15th. Guys, patreon.com/History Hyenas to just get your all-in-one Hyena fan package. You get the episodes a day early, uncensored, ad-free. If you don't like listening to all that, buy this! Also, you get our bonus episodes. Some of our funniest episodes are our weekly bonus episodes, additional content. Just become a member of our community, patreon.com/History Hyenas.
Yeah.
Way
So when you do that, when you skip around and you just have fun with the Polish, because Polish kids, they really like to have a good time. Here's the thing about Polish people.
You know them more than me.
I know Polish people big, and I know any level of Polish person. They really like to drink. They really like to have a good time, and they really don't allow Muslims in the country. That's just what things are.
Oh, you mean their country now?
They're very Catholic, and they Catholic, just really kind of have a big border around their country. They don't, because they got kicked around a lot by the Nazis, and and that's what it is. So I do know that, and I know that Polish people, even though Dr. Lukasz, very skinny man, very high cholesterol. He's got worse cholesterol than me. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, because they like to throw a few, what they're doing is they're drinking vodka and eating pierogies, and they do it privately in their own homes.
Yeah. Well, I want to make this episode really shoot up.
Right.
So I'm just going to say what everyone wants to say. The problem is not the Muslims, okay?
Yeah.
It's the Muslims and Christians against the Jews.
That's what it is.
Right, because the Muslims recognize Jesus as a prophet.
Yeah.
Numbers through the roof.
Through the roof, yeah. That's what it is.
That's what it is now.
Now, look, I'm off the beam in a major way. I told you I have a shoulder labrum tear.
I like to call you Chrissy veterans now.
Yeah.
Chrissy veterans.
Chrissy veteran.
You're an old school veteran who's now you're at the point where you're going to have to do veteran tricks.
Yeah.
You got to rub a little icy hot. You're going to do a little Vaseline on your fastball.
Yep.
Your body is banged up.
It's banged up, and I had for the last 3 months.
You have a war victory. You're the only guy with war wounds that hasn't been in battle.
But I do still fight the Japanese on a daily basis.
You got a lot of wars going in your head.
Yeah.
And you just want an ethno. You want an ethno state.
It's
an ethno state of German
Right.
Protestant.
It's just what
but
it is.
you're Catholic.
Because in my mind, I'm on the front lines every day. So when because what it is, is when I come down my stairs and I see my family and I see the multiple members of my family that I didn't invite to my house, it's like when the back of the boat's opening in D-Day and I say, I'm going in, I'm storming the beach, because that's what it is, because make absolutely no mistake, I have a wild family. And so I got this labral tear, and it's the first time ever in my life that I could not sleep from the pain in my shoulder, to the point where it was like, it really is making me think like how for granted you take, like, now I got real pain. I can't do the exercises I want. I can't hold my kid. It's her birthday tomorrow. I can't throw them in the pool because I got this labral tear, and I was up all night. I was trying to get Jazz to jerk me off. She wouldn't do it. And then I got her to rub a little cream on my arm, but that's about it. And I'm in real pain, cuz. And it sucks. And and then once the labral tears, here's what I know. Once the labral tears, it doesn't come back. I won't have a labrum now for the rest of my life.
Yeah. You're built for the first half of life. It's what it is.
What it is.
God makes those things,
But you said I look good today.
You do look good to me.
But see, I feel I don't look good. My Whoop recovery, I'm at 20% recovery. Yeah. I'm in the red. My hair doesn't feel good. I did my physical therapy. I was almost crying when I couldn't move my arm.
You're Chinese electronics.
It's what it is.
On the outside, you're going like, wow, that's a good price. I'm going to buy it. And then it breaks real quick.
Yeah.
So you're just Chinese electronics Chrissy right now.
My shoulders are made in China.
You're a good package, but once you start using you a little bit, there's broken parts. And you got to buy a new one.
Yeah.
Your Achilles is falling off. Your foot's about to fall off. Your feet are broken.
Well,
you're crucified.
But here's the thing. Let me just give you guys an update on my physical therapy for my knees and my Achilles. Check out this. I can get. Look at this.
Way. Go this way.
Where?
A little closer to that.
Look at this.
No.
No, you're blocking it completely.
Right
closer to the desk.
Here we go.
Yeah, good.
So on the Achilles, see? Asshole off the floor.
Yeah.
No pain. But now, look. This is how you're supposed. This is normal range of motion on a shoulder.
Yeah.
That's fine. Look at this one.
Whoa.
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good. We're coming into what we call a little thing we call in the biz adhesive capsulitis, aka frozen your shoulder.
Yeah. Well, at least it's frozen in a way that you're comfortable with. You just got to go the other way with it.
Well, yeah, because he keeps saying,
maybe it's happening for a reason.
The therapist keeps saying, he's like, you got no range of motion. I said, what? It's fine. What are you talking about? It's moving. He goes, no, the other way.
It's the way God wanted it to go. Maybe God's giving you a boost to put it where it needs to be.
Yeah, because, as you were saying before the cameras turned on, it's coming back. A one-party system's coming back. Are we either going to have the liberal communists who come in and do it one way,
or the right-wing fascists,
or the fascists who come in and smash?
Yeah.
Maybe he's just getting my arm ready for some smash.
Yeah. It's definitely going. Everything's become so decentralized.
Because make no mistake, whatever happens in the future, I know Jesus is on the good guy's side.
Jesus is always on your side. He's waiting for you.
It's what it is. He's within us all.
He's within us all. He's outside. The kingdom of God is within us and outside of us. Yeah, it's definitely going to go that way. People forget we're a teenage country.
Right.
We're a teenage country.
Yeah.
We got the bolster. We got the emotional swings. We throw the tantrums.
That's why the rest of the world jerks off to us.
Yeah. Have you noticed the rest of the world is kind of tired? They've been through it.
Right.
Like you go places and they're like, you can just smell all the carnage that happened, and everyone's walking around just going like, we did that. Like, just chill out.
Yeah.
And we're here going like, yeah. We're like Beavis and Butthead going, let's get it. You're like, those places already did that.
Yeah.
And everyone got slaughtered.
Yeah, remember that old pre-workout when we were teenagers called NO Explode?
Yeah.
That's what we're on, NO Explode.
We're ready to go. And you know how like a teenager, you could tell them the wisdom, but then they do it anyway because they need to learn it for themselves?
Right.
So I feel like we're at that stage where we want to learn the horrors of history for ourselves. So I think America's going to go through a little growing up period. I don't think it's avoidable. I don't think you can avoid it. I think it's just, you just buckle down, get your bunker, and just wait it out.
And you just wait it out, and we'll see what happens. Cause today you want to talk about the Odyssey.
I wanted to talk about your jean shorts first.
Yeah, I got on.
You got jorts on.
Because I got jorts on, and make no mistake, I feel like a woman in the South.
Yeah, what I was looking at, maybe what you should do is cut those things off and tighten them up so you could look like Dirty Dancing.
That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
And I wore these jorts yesterday to Citi Field. Yesterday, we went to the Mets-Yankees game. Now, I decided to bring Jazz and the kids.
Yeah.
And, of course, just in fashion, I was in the car. an hour before waiting. They don't come down. We left my house about 5 minutes before the actual game started. It took an hour to get there in traffic, so we don't get there to the end of the third inning, right? Of course, they're complaining. We're in this beautiful suite. They're complaining, oh, it's the game's far and blah. They want to go home.
My third cousin just got called up. We're going to miss it.
Yeah, we're going to miss that shit. So we're waiting. And then all of a sudden, just complaining, girls complaining, everybody's complaining. I'm like, I just want to watch a baseball game here. And then it's the 8th inning. Yankees are up 6-3. Okay, everybody thinks, okay, game's over. It's at Citi Field. They're like, come on, let's just go. I said, we only got in the third inning. What's the difference? We got so much time. It's a 1 o'clock game. They're like, come on, let's go. So have to leave begrudgingly. We're in the car, in the traffic leaving. All of a sudden you hear Citi Field erupt. They hit the Mets hit a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 9th to tie the game. So now I'm just gripping the wheel. Even Jazz knows. She was like, wow, what? Is that because the game's over?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, and then I put on the radio. The announcers are going crazy, like, you just missed history. And then they win, of course, in the bottom of the 10th. And I'm just sitting in traffic in Flushing, surrounded by Chinese people, just listening to one of the best games in the league this year while I'm just sitting there, as Jazz is complaining. Tough. The kids are complaining, telling me to put on K-pop and the Demon Hunters and then Cat's Eye. And I'm just like,
I was alone.
I'm like, how about I drive this car off the RFK bridge?
Right. You know what I like about you? I think definitely I believe in former lives for sure.
Sure.
I think in a former life, I was probably a dog, and unfortunately, I was probably a dog because I love dogs. You can say the things you're tugged to is probably what you were. So I was probably a dog, but unfortunately, I was probably a dog in Korea.
Right.
And so I had a short life, but I was delicious at some point.
Yeah.
You no doubt feel a tug towards the revolutionary period.
Yeah.
And there's no question you were in that time, but you were some sort of double agent intelligent asset.
Right.
Because for you to have the ability to switch from the Yankees to the Mets so quick and feel nothing for the Yankees now means you're up. Your pussy is up to the highest bidder. Yeah. You sell that pussy to whoever because how could you watch the Mets and Yankees and be so happy about the Mets tying the game when you were a lifelong Yankee fan? I mean, Barney Rubble must be fucking turning in his grave that he's not in yet, but soon.
But Barney Rubble is on my side because it got personal with the Yankees and the Mets. So that's what happened. Is the Mets started to, I did
But is there something in your heart that still tugs for the Yanks?
I don't hate the Yankees. The thing is, I don't hate the Yankees, and I wasn't necessarily rooting for one team, but I was just enjoying the game yesterday. If the Yankees won the World Series, I would love to see that.
Right.
I don't hate them. But the problem is it got personal because the Yankees were just being such scumbags to my family, to me and my family, especially my stepson. They just really treated them like shit. And then the Mets just treated my family so well that you just kind of saw a little bit of the inner workings of the organization. I said, the Mets just seem like better people on the front office than the Yankees. Granted, I only met a couple of people in the Yankees front office. There was one lady who was really nice who would give the tickets for the Yankees. Shout out Debbie. She was always awesome. But some of the other people I ran into were really just dirtbags and thought who they were. And I didn't like the way they treated my family, so it got personal. So and that's why sometimes, my friends are like, my friends from home are like, how could you switch from the Yankees to the Mets? I said, it's personal, guy. Okay, I got to meet the high ups on the team. You're never going to meet the high ups on the team. So why don't you shut your fucking mouth and enjoy your fucking cargo shorts in Section 300? You could suck my ass. They disrespected my stepson, and I'm just not going to stand for it.
So I mean, what we just learned there is sort of like one of those universal truths that we all have to accept, right? Is that the better people are usually the losers in life.
It's what it is.
And when they call it the evil empire, it's usually, because they're horrible people, that's why the Yankees are so great, right? They win a lot, but it just comes at a cost, right? It's like when you meet successful people, it's like, don't meet your heroes. Right. You really find out that they're pieces of shit, and that's what you got to be to succeed.
That's what it is. And here's the thing, is I feel like, Barney Rubble told me something once. We were sitting in traffic on the Verrazano Bridge, and somebody cut him off. Cars were honking, whatever. My dad had no reaction. He never had road rage, which I always learned. That's why I don't think I have any road rage. And he was like...
Because he didn't have anything on any money on the car that hit him. Yeah,
that's what it is. And so I said to him, that doesn't upset you. And he was like, Chris, you're going to really start to enjoy life when you understand life isn't fair.
Yeah.
So, and then I think he was just looking at himself in the mirror when, his eyes going this way, driving a, in 1987 Oldsmobile, the doors used to fly open on the middle of the highway.
So it was like a Tesla before the Tesla?
Yes, I used to have to hold the doors closed. So they just used to fly open. So to deal with that. So I always thought that. I always knew that, it's not fair. And I thought about that already, too. I was like, the Yankees, they are who they are. Just like the most successful people, usually pieces of shit. But it's like, I'd like to be happier with a little less. You know what? I actually saw a study. This is just recently. I saw that people who always are saying like that grind mentality and you got to grind and all day, they have the same levels of stress as people who are poverty. Because they're just stressed out in a different way. So you got to have a balance.
Yeah. Now that is a perfect segue into diving back into the antiquity. Antiquity specifically means the ancient Greek times.
That's what it is.
The glory is. Because back then, they had a pantheon of gods.
Right.
And interestingly enough, the Greeks weren't into weakness.
No, and the Greeks also, too, you can always call that the glory years and say that the good old days, and I think it's safe for everybody because slaves were white back then. Slavic slaves.
Right,
so it's fair.
So my point is you can get it, because a lot of times, you'll have non-white people back, that glory, of course, for you, Flash.
Right, it's a good point.
You just have to deal with that thing that they keep hearing on the algorithm, and you have to just be like, do you have any of your own thoughts, or are you just a follower for everything you do in your life? You just want to start saying that to people, like, have your own original idea. But
I like Steel Pipe Chrissy. He's my friend.
Because it's
fun.
I haven't slept and my shoulder hurts.
Yeah, so let's hit it.
But slaves were white in Greek antiquity, so it's a plus for everybody.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah,
it's a good time. You're saying it's safe to say something positive.
To say good old days, because if you say good old days in any other time, then people just are like, oh yeah, this is this response I'm supposed to have because I saw it online.
Yeah, it was good for you.
I'm supposed to be upset by this.
It was good for you.
Good for you.
It wasn't good for me. You're like, you weren't there, but it was the guy.
Yeah.
So this is a fun one that I just learned about today or yesterday or whatever. So the Greeks, they had something called...
Because you got to start working on your biceps. You're starting to piss me off.
I'm just deflating.
You're starting to piss me off now. I need you to get a pump.
I'm starting to look fat.
Yeah, I hate it. Yeah, I want you to at least use that biceps.
I had them like last week, so they're gone.
Where are they?
Yeah,
starting to piss me off.
So the Greeks had a ritual called pharmakos.
Nice, that's fun.
Which means scapegoat ritual.
Okay.
Which is wild. It was sort of like, I'm crying.
Yeah.
It's sort of like The Purge. This is so
interesting.
Wild. So during times of plagues, famine, or crisis, marginalized people... This is so horrible. Sometimes described as criminals, beggared, disabled, or ugly.
Okay. Yeah.
So they would take ugly people from the village, and they'd be beaten, humiliated, or killed in a symbolic purification of the city.
Just get them out.
So it's bad.
Yeah.
So they just weren't into it. Because the ancient...
But they didn't deal with traffic. Right? They kind of just got things done a little quicker.
Yeah, well, they didn't really have, the Greeks, the thing that they didn't have was like this, they didn't really like have a care for like the weak or empathy.
Right.
They didn't have a god for that. They didn't. The only thing they had was hubris, like be careful of hubris.
Like being like cocky?
Yeah, just like being too cocky. It was like they and that's what we're going to talk about the Odyssey today. And Odysseus, they loved the poem, the Odyssey is a story about a guy who was extremely cunning. And witty.
Right.
And so you survive. They valued cunning over like pure brute strength. So he's like a complicated hero, but they loved his brain, his wittiness.
Right.
So they didn't like you if you were fucking stupid.
It's just what it is.
And apparently if you were unpleasant to the eye, you got beaten.
You got beaten.
When food got a little tight, if you were ugly, there was no plastic surgery to fix that situation. Unfortunately, the old Kardashians, like pre-New Faces.
We would have never met them because they would have been out of here.
They would have been out of here.
What's it called again?
Pharmakos.
Pharmakos.
A little pharmakos.
A little pharmacy.
Yeah, a little pharmacy. So they were really Now,
when was this practice? This was 2,000 years ago, Fatima Cause?
No, this was a long time ago.
Even before
you're
that.
Talking about 9,000, 7,000, 6,000 years ago, whatever
the Greeks have just been here a long time.
They were here a long time.
Do you ever think that, and we'll get more into the Odyssey, but do you think that potentially Greeks could have been DNA manipulated by extraterrestrials because of how far they were able to advance?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I think all that extraterrestrial. I don't buy any of that shit.
You don't?
I don't buy Atlantis as a lost city. I don't buy the Egyptians. The fucking aliens built it. I don't. I think that they were extreme. They got very sophisticated. I feel like the ancient Egypt was around for thousands of years, like we talked about. There was historians doing ancient tours in Egypt of ancient Egypt. So they were around for a long time. They got sophisticated and they figured out how to build a fucking giant triangle.
Right.
People get all crazy because it's like it lines up with some stars or some shit. Yeah, they were sophisticated.
Yeah.
They didn't have an air conditioner yet, but they knew how to build a fucking giant triangle.
It's what it is.
They had slaves, they had workers, they had stones.
Right.
They learned how to build it's a triangle.
And also,
why is everyone freaking out about a fucking triangle?
And also, I just want to let you know that the Egyptians are okay to talk about because their slaves were Jews.
Yeah.
So as long as if the Jews were in chains at any moment in history, then most people in our algorithm say that's okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like, they were ancient people. They figured it out. The Greeks, and then they go, oh, the thing about the Greeks that you have to just accept, and this is unfortunately people take this as like an ethno thing. Because people get crazy, right? They get emotional. But look at my genes, right?
Yeah.
So my genes, half of them are Minoan, like I'm actually a DNA Greek going all the way back, but then I'm Anatolian.
Right.
But I was Greek.
Right.
So it's like what happened was Alexander the Great spread Greek culture all over the place, and my peoples were some Anatolian farmers. Right? We were up for grabs.
Right.
We could have went Muzzy. We could have went Christian. We could have went Buddha.
Right.
We could have went whatever gods were there.
Right.
We went Christian. We went Greek.
Right.
So it's a culture that spreads. And there's one thing you can't deny about a culture. Just became that guy again.
Yeah.
Is that Greek culture is like the bedrock of like everything good now.
Right.
You just can't deny that.
I agree with that.
Even if you're Muslim, you can't argue that the Muslim golden age wasn't highly influenced by the translation of like the ancient Greek thinkers. Like it's the bedrock from which all good things have sprung in modernity, architecture, mathematics, logic, the list goes on.
Right.
Geometry, whatever, gay sex, all the good things we enjoy.
The only issue you have with your bedrock is the pool that they put in was a little uneven.
It was a little uneven.
And the contractor got a talking to, and now it's even.
Yeah, it's even. Now, we figured it out.
You figured it out?
We put it in it's figured out. I mean, we figured it out some way. We figured it out.
It figured out,
I figured it out.
Yeah, the guy got real nervous.
Yeah, the problem is these guys love the show, so it's what it is.
It's what it is, yeah.
I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, he's happy
very happy with it. When sometimes it's very uncomfortable when someone in your life who can be a source of material, and then they just tell you that they're big fans of this show.
Yeah, it's just
so he's listening to this right now.
Yeah, but what I've decided to do...
I'm very happy with the pool.
What I've decided...
Any thoughts I have, I'll tell you privately.
Yeah, it's just what it is. Or I'll read the text message out at patreon.com/History Hyenas, okay?
We're going to stop, yeah. It's all good, though.
It's all good.
It's all good. Let me tell you something right now, Christopher Distefano.
That's what it is.
I get all my clothes from Quince. No stop. As the boys say, the kids say, no cap.
No cap. I get all my clothes from Quince, and I also get all the bedding and stuff. I got blinds off Quince. Quince is one of the best websites you can go to. I mean, they have all the wardrobe staples for spring, 100% European linen shorts and shirts, $34, lightweight, breathable, all the good stuff. Everything is priced 50 to 80% less than what you find at similar brands. And I got to tell you, I got 2 pairs of jeans from there. I've washed them and dried them, and they haven't shrunk, so it's good quality.
It's very good quality, and let me tell you something. There is no reason not to download the app and to take a peek.
Take a peek. I'm telling you, refresher every day with luxury. You'll actually head to quince.com/hyenas for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too, eh? That's QUINCE.com/hyenas for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/hyenas. I want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast episode and sponsoring my boner. I mean, the future of erectile function is here. I like that I got a rock hard cock right now.
Ladies, if you're listening, send your man the link as well. Make him a trophy husband with Blue Chew Gold.
I want to see his trophy cock.
Yeah, turbocharge your love life and make it easy to get hard. This is all about getting hard.
Yeah.
Most ED meds only focus on blood flow, but Blue Chew Gold goes further by combining 2 ingredients for blood flow with 2 more for mental arousal and connection.
I mean, cuz the process is simple and it's all online. Get started today at bluechew.com and go for the gold, okay? I mean, we have got a special deal for our listeners right now. When you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the 3rd for free with the promo code Hyenas. That's promo code Hyenas, Hyenas. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast and sponsoring our pieces.
Yeah, but you know,
yeah.
People do like the show, and sometimes it's a conflict because sometimes Chris's family listens to the show too.
Well, I know, and it's what it is. But what I've started doing recently in my life is saying I'm not seeking parental approval anymore of anything in my life. I'm starting to think about life as what would I do? What would I be doing if my parents weren't here? That's how you got to live your life. That's how you get to happiness. Stop trying to seek your parents' approval as you get older, because it's like that holds you back in life. Like, Yanni, you're free. You do whatever you want. You got that wig on. You got the skirt on. It doesn't matter, okay?
Yeah, because you're your own man now. You're an adult.
It's just what it is.
You're
but
an adult.
I've spent a lot of my adult years just trying to seek parental approval. I'm just not doing it anymore.
I can understand that because you're a man now. You are your own father and a mother. You are what it is. You're a parent to others now.
And I tore my shoulder labrum jerking off to gay porn.
Because you're just doing what you want to do.
I'm doing what I want to do right now. Okay, I took a flight down to go see Thunder from Down Under in Australia.
Yeah,
because I said I don't care what my mom and dad think of me anymore, and I ripped the labrum off.
That's what happens.
It's just what
happens. You're a free man.
I'm a free bird.
You're a free bird. You're no longer a tilted. You're a free tilted bird.
That's what it is.
So the Odyssey.
Yeah, let's talk about
the rage.
Cyclops.
Yeah, there's a Cyclops in it.
So, you know what, cuz? I got to be honest. I was listening to it. I was learning about it. I don't really know. You're more of the expert with the Odyssey. I know some parts about it, but I don't really know, the story. So I'm eager to learn.
There's one word that has no truth on this show. Our show there's one thing that you said that just doesn't exist on the show. Okay. Everything exists on the show except for expert.
Yeah.
There's nothing involved in the show.
That's true.
Where there's expertise.
That's a good point.
This is one of the stupidest rooms in the country. This is a gathering of 4 of the stupidest people to ever live.
Right.
If me and you didn't have any comedic talent, we would be hard pressed to get jobs anywhere.
Big time.
I mean, you are a physical therapist, but you're like on the low rung of physical therapy.
I can't even rehab my own shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, you dropped a noodle in a cadaver.
It's what it is.
I mean, you are like, to Filipinos look at you.
Right.
It's like, really, are we going to let this fucking immigrant do what we do?
Right.
They look at you that way.
Right.
They go, this is a Filipino thing.
Yeah.
There's some fucking jacked white guy trying to be a physical therapist. This guy dropped a noodle in a cadaver.
It's what it is.
And why am I calling a cadaver a cadaver?
A cadaver.
It's not MacGyver.
Because, and then you come
I'm a fucking retard.
I was going to say, then you come from a family where your older brother went to Oxford.
Yeah.
And then people say, talk about the Pappas brothers. They say, doesn't one of them have special needs? And they don't know if it's you or your actual brother who has special needs.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
They'll see you on Facebook and they'll see the Marisa wig and they're not sure if it's you or the brother who's in a group home.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because, listen, he has an excuse. I don't.
That's the thing. So I actually might put you lower than him.
Yeah, you can't even say special needs people are like, you can't make fun of them because they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stupid, and I have the potential to not be.
Right.
I just don't have, I'm just not built with the winning qualities that make that happen.
It's just what it is.
So, calling me anyone out here an expert at anything
is wild.
I mean, the only thing that me and you are an expert on is not being an expert.
Right. It's
so
true.
I learned about the Odyssey now. I never read it. I didn't grow up with it because my parents barely paid attention to me. Most Greeks, this is a big deal. Greeks are very upset that there's a black woman in the Odyssey.
It's what it is. The movie coming out.
Yeah, they're just very upset. And this is the thing that they're very upset about the black woman. But if you know, the ancient Greeks actually admired the ancient Ethiopians, and they actually called them hot. So
they are hot. Ethiopian women are beautiful.
Yeah, they called them like.
Now, what is Elliot Page doing in the movie?
They're also upset about that.
What is she doing?
What is he doing?
What's his part in?
Well, it's become a huge thing on the internet now, and I have to say it's funny in a way that I think would hurt his feelings a lot, but it's hard. It's hard. I know you're on the internet a lot. They started making movie trailers with Elliot Page in like very manly, warlike scenes.
Right.
And Elliot Page is just getting brutalized. So they're using AI because Elliot Page is in the movie, and this is a movie about war.
But do you know what character Elliot Page plays?
She's played a guy. No, she's not a kid. Dude, if it was Achilles, I think the Greeks would riot.
Yeah, she is Achilles. Yeah.
She's Achilles?
Yeah.
So I got I made a video, and there's a lot of Greeks upset with me. And they might have been the ones that spam reported me because I said it. Look, this is a fantasy. It's not a big deal. But here's the deal. I might be wrong because even my brother was upset about the African woman playing Helen. He goes, well, that's stupid. I go, listen, it's fantasy. Anyone can play whoever they want. Like,
right.
I don't care about this
at
all because it's like whatever. They're actors. Are we going to get upset? Nobody was upset with Anthony Quinn played Zorba.
Yeah,
He's not Greek.
Right.
I mean, what are we going to get upset when Al Pacino played Carlito? I mean, who gives a shit?
Somebody played the Egyptian pharaoh. Somebody played Moses, who was a white guy.
Yeah, I mean,
who cares?
Who gives a shit? You know?
I heard somebody say with that one, I forgot who played him, but it was like they didn't have a Middle Eastern actor that could sell the type of tickets that whomever the lead was. I forgot who it was. So it's like, this is what it is. Like, people are going to go see Matt Damon and Elliot Page.
Yeah, I don't know about Elliot. I don't know. But yeah, I think I think what it is the culture wars kind of leak into the movies, Jesse, right? Is that what's your take?
Well, I think the movies are the ones who start them all.
Or start. I don't know why people are so worked up about this.
There's some rumors going around that in order to win an Academy Award, you need specific casting. So you have to have a person of color and you have to have trans. So they changed the rules of what can win now.
Got it.
So that's why they're
Is that true? Is that
probably true?
Yeah. They changed how you can win an Oscar.
Well, either way, I don't care. I don't know why people. I don't care. Then don't go see the movie. Like, why
nobody
are people
cares.
so upset?
And by the way, that's just a theory. We don't know why Christopher Nolan casted the way he casted, other than it's really big in the news right now.
To me, I don't care.
Huge in the news.
I don't care, but it's just something to talk. I'm going to go see the movie regardless. I don't give a fuck who's accurately represented. I just want. It looks like a good movie, does it not?
I mean, it's Christopher Nolan, so I mean, what has
I want to see Cyclops? Crushing people.
What? Yeah, and my only point is, why was I not considered for that role?
Seriously, you should have at least got an audition.
Yeah, I should have got an audition. Be like, we can save a lot on special effects.
I want to see it. I want to see if I can get my little greasy hands on an early copy.
Yeah, you should have been in something too. You look like a big old freak.
It's just what it is, cuz it's just what it is. TV and film have just consistently said no.
Well, listen.
So that's why I'm into stand-up and podcasting.
So, but as it turns out, I mean, how bad that didn't turn out to be that bad of a thing.
No,
I don't think. I think people did it because they had to do it, but I don't know how many people really actually enjoyed it.
What?
Like the process of making a movie.
No, I don't think so.
I think probably being in a play is funner.
More fun. Well, that's why you see a lot of guys doing it. But this cast from the Odyssey looks great. Now, here's the thing, is what I want to know about what the Odyssey means to you, and I want to know tell me about the Odyssey, because here's the only broad strokes that I know.
Do you want to take an 11 milligram just so we have something to play for?
No, but I would, but I'm holding in an emergency shit, and I already drank 3 coffees today because I got an hour's sleep.
Okay.
So if I didn't, I would have taken one and given myself a heart attack. But here's what I know about the Odyssey. Mm-hmm. I know that it was written by Homer, who was the poet, who's definitely a gay kid, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing about that is we're not sure whether it was like Homer wrote it, or it was like a collection of poems and he's the guy, or maybe the guy that compiled all these oral traditions. It's just like the same thing with the Greek gods. They were around in oral traditions. Same thing with like Christianity, right? It's oral traditions passed down, and then finally someone writes it down. So they think Homer might be a bunch of different writers and he collected it or something like that. Or he could be the guy who wrote it all. They don't know for sure.
So what's the difference between the Iliad and the Odyssey?
Either he, him, or they, them.
It's just what it is. Is it the Iliad and the Odyssey? Homer wrote both of them?
Yeah.
So what's the Iliad? That's the one with the Battle of Troy, the Trojan horse?
Yeah, that's the one with that. And then Odysseys, he's coming home.
Coming home. And
he's coming home. If he's going to Philly, he's coming home.
And I know that it takes him 10 years to get home, and the kid just really misses his wife and kids. But on the way, he does bang out some...
He bangs out some gods. He bangs out some chicks.
It's just what it is, because back then, it was like, I really love my family, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to get sucked off by a siren.
Round 14.
So it's an amazing tale with a lot in it. And just researching for this made me realize a lot of things.
Going about this.
I was pouring about this. Well, you know, it's trending. So we're playing the internet game.
It's just what it is.
There's no bigger news right now than this, right? And it's big controversy. People are upset. What's her name? Lupita? Lupita.
She's an excellent actress, and she is a piece.
Now, I was telling my brother said, I saw your video, but I don't know everything about it. My brother's a super lib, right? So I was like, it's fine, it's no big deal. And then he goes, well, I think it's kind of stupid that she's playing Helen. And I don't know.
Of Troy, because Helen was most likely, if she was Troy, that's...
No, I'm sorry, Penelope. I think she's playing Penelope.
Who's Penelope?
Penelope is like main character wife, right? Is she playing Penelope? So
is that Odyssey's, is that his wife? The guy who's traveling 10 years, that's his wife?
Yeah, Odysseus, yeah.
Odysseus.
Odyssey. Who's she playing?
Pepitas. He put Lapitas.
Pepitas in Odyssey.
Yeah. Judging put Pepitas in Odyssey. Yeah.
How do you spell Lapita? I don't know.
L-U-P. Lapitas. Yeah. And
¿Cómo se dice Lapitas? Lapitas. Yeah. She's playing Helen of Troy.
And Helen's sister. How is she playing two people at once?
I don't know. Listen, I say... Anne Hathaway's playing Penelope. So I was wrong about that. I think people just need to give it a chance. And also, it's a fictional story. Also, we're in America now, so it's like our interpretation of it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like Greek culture. It's like Alexander the Great viewed it. You know, he wasn't Greek the way Minoans were Greek. He was Macedonia. They were all Greek. The same way the Byzantine Empire was Greek. Well, it's a culture that's
spread. That's what happens with culture, baby gorgeous, is what people, I don't know why this isn't spoken about more. It's like when you talk about ancient cultures, with the Greek culture, the whatever, the African culture, whatever culture you're a part of, whatever you're practicing right now, there's a very high chance that your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmothers and grandfathers would be rolling over in their grave for whatever tradition you think is your culture, because it was probably raped and pillaged into you over generations after generations, and the culture changes. So that's why when people are like, that's not my culture, it's like culture's an ever-changing thing to me. Always. It's like, no, it's just one culture. It's just humans.
Yeah, I don't think Greek culture is a DNA. I think, there's something to be proud of if you come from that tradition, but I don't think it's just this static, defined thing. And it's been proven. I mean, look, wherever Greek culture goes, wherever Greek culture goes, it makes a place first. That you can't. People always say, "Oh, the Greeks are gone." Dude, the Greeks have never left. The Greeks, they're always here because Rome was Greek. Europe is Greek. All the Greek ideas that come from those ancient Greek thinkers have traveled into other cultures.
Being gay is Greek?
Being gay is Greek. So now the Odyssey is this Greek, yes, it's a Greek play, but much like the Greek thinkers, it's now in America thousands of years later, and we happen to have a little bit more of a multicultural society, by the way, much like Rome had.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like you become Roman not because of your DNA, you become Roman because you accept certain cultural things, you become a citizen of Rome meant you accepted certain things and you abided by a certain culture.
Right.
And if everything just stuck to like a race, like the Jews, you're going to... some point.
Just what it is.
You're going to annoy people at a certain point because you're going, what is the secret thing that you won't allow other people into?
So now here's the thing with the Odyssey. Here's what it is. The poem has 24 books and can be divided into 3 major parts. The situation in Ithaca is the first
part. He had a situation with the mother at that point.
With the mother in Ithaca. So Odysseus, he's missing for 20 years. He was 10 years fighting at Troy, which that movie, Troy was Brad Pitt. 10 years trying to get home. So the kid's gone for 20 years. He's got a wife, Penelope, who's being played by Anne Hathaway. She's surrounded by arrogant suitors trying to marry her and seize the kingdom. Then they have a son, Telemachus, grows up without a dad, and everyone assumes Odysseus is dead. The goddess Athena secretly helps Telemachus search for information about his father.
Yeah, so this is a story about coming home in Philly. Coming home, and it's a story about a guy who has to make his way home with all these challenges and all these temptations.
Right.
And it's also a story about his wife, Penelope, who could also have taken an easier route, assumed he was dead, and married one of these suitors for her own safety, for her own protection. And she manages to keep Ithaca afloat, ruling it alone with all these competing dudes
Girl power.
Who are trying to tear it down. So these two people reunite and take the road less traveled, but they both choose loyalty and faith in each other. Like she has no idea he's alive, but she continues to believe he's going to come.
Right.
He, I think for a couple of years, starts banging a god who promises him
yes. They had a year,
immortality.
They had a child together.
Yeah, immortality, constant joy, endless sex. But what he realizes is that gets boring and it has no meaning. So paradise in some way becomes a type of hell.
Right.
Because there's no change, there's no story, there's no, most of all, meaning. So he chooses his story and his life with meaning, which is ruler of Ithaca, to return home.
So then we go, Jessica, you scroll up a little bit. So then we go to Odysseus' journey. This is part 2. The legendary adventures people always talk about. The Cicones, Cicones.
I like to call them the Cicones.
The Cicones.
Yeah.
Right after Troy, Odysseus and his men raid a city called Ismatus. They get greedy, stay too long, and are attacked. The early lesson here, pride and excess get people killed. Then the lotus eaters. I've heard of this one. On another island, inhabitants eat lotus plants that make people forget their homes and ambitions. Symbolically, escapism, addiction, losing purpose. Odysseus drags his men back to the ships by force because these guys forgot all about their good lives. The lotus eaters, that's who I call the lovely ladies at West Garden. Then we got Cyclops Polyphemus. This is Yanni.
Yeah.
One of the most famous episodes. Odysseus and his men get trapped in the cave of the Cyclops, the son of Poseidon. So a lot of people don't know. Poseidon had a kid. His name was Cyclops. Odysseus gets him drunk and says his name is Nobody. Very smart. After binding the Cyclops.
Blinding the Cyclops.
Yep. Because he says when the Cyclops starts screaming, there's other Cyclops, and they're saying, who's hurting you to the Cyclops who got his eye, because he got his eye stabbed. What Odysseus did is they got him real drunk and he stabbed him in his one eye. So the guy's blind, and because he said his name was Nobody, he's just screaming, nobody is hurting me, nobody is hurting me. So the other Cyclops just leave because they're like, okay, he's fine. So then Odysseus escapes tied beneath sheep, because what happened is the Cyclops couldn't, the reason why they stabbed the Cyclops in the eye, that he had moved this huge boulder over the exit to their cave, to Odysseus' men in his cave, so they needed a way to get out, even though the Cyclops, they couldn't kill the Cyclops, they just had to blind him. And then Cyclops was feeling the sheep as they left the cave, because he needed to let his sheep out the next morning. So he opened the cave, and the Odysseus' men tied themselves to the bottom of the sheep, so he would feel them and say, oh, that's a sheep, but it was really a guy.
Yeah. So, but he made a fatal mistake there. He brags and reveals his real name while he's sailing away. And then Poseidon becomes his divine enemy because that was his son.
And this is where the 10 years to get home is going to come into play, because he just makes the seas bad.
So this is the ancient Greeks. Now, this is the very interesting part. The ancient Greeks sort of anthropomorphized and personified human psychology and the human experience. And let me explain, because I find this very interesting. So this whole journey is about being witty, being smart, but then there's all these warnings about, like, hey, bragging, being too arrogant, or making these mistakes that he learns along the way, that, like, it's good. So the Greeks believed it's good to be smart, but you have to be what they called humble. You can't have what the Greek word hubris. When you have hubris, it's a big flaw.
Right.
So Odysseus displays these moments of hubris that actually turn these very smart tactics into more misery, and that's why it takes so long to get home, and he learns these lessons from these mistakes that he makes. Now, this is what I find interesting. The Greek gods, I never really understood the Greek gods till recently. The Greek gods, what the Greeks understood was that people worship things.
Yes.
Right? So people may not think they're worshiping something, but they're worshiping something. So if you come across a guy who loves booze, who loves chaos, loves getting wild, they would go, that guy worships Dionysus. So they just personified the force, the force, the motivation, the thing that the person loved. The Greeks basically said this: we're always going to be worshiping something. Like humans worship things. So you're either worshiping comfort, pride, comfort, drugs, lust. So they took all these things, food, and they personified them into gods, because they recognized that these were big forces that were out there that dictated the way people behaved. And then some of the gods were just natural forces in nature that they couldn't control. Like, so Poseidon, if you lived in an island that was very dependent on the sea, you would worship Poseidon because you'd be trying to get a lot of fish, or if you felt like the wave was going, you'd want to be protected at sea. So it was also gods that represented powerful things that were beyond human control.
Right.
So, but what was very interesting about the Greeks was that it was like psychology masked as sort of theology. And it made me think the Greeks were kind of smart in the sense that everyone, just to make it modern day, right? You have your atheists now, you got your theists, you got whatever, right? So an atheist goes, I don't believe in religion. You go, really? Right? You look at Ricky Gervais, you go, what are you worshiping really?
Right.
Something. You're worshiping your own smarts. You're worshiping your own pride.
Right.
I'm smarter than these idiots. I know more than them. Look at these ridiculous tales. It's so stupid.
I love Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he's I love him too. But he's worshiping his own intellect. He's worshiping the pride in himself.
We're all going to worship something.
We're all going to worship something.
Yeah.
And then you go at somebody else who's like, mainly routine, or like whatever it is, you worship comfort. So there's always a worship going on.
Right.
So, and the Greeks just personified those. Someone who loves to get drunk, someone who likes to fuck. You're giving into some powerful energy that you're worshiping, whether you admit it or not, or you're conscious or not of it. There's some powerful force that's driving you towards laying yourself at the altar of something.
Right. So that's very smart the way that they handle that and make it, really cool to see. So
yeah, like Athena, the god of wisdom. So it's some guy who's sitting there going, I need to figure this out. It's like you're worshiping at the temple of Athena.
All right, so let's go here. So
Aphrodite was a piece.
Yeah. So if you go back, okay. So we're traveling. We're through this. After Odysseus announces himself to the Cyclops and does that kind of hubris thing, things start to get dark from here, okay? Because then we get to Aeolus and the Bag of Winds. Sounds like a fart. His crew thinks it's treasure, and they open up this bag containing these dangerous winds that they thought was treasure, and it blows them all the way back across the sea. The theme here is human stupidity ruins victory at the last second. Then we have the Trigonians. These are cannibal giants that destroy almost the entire fleet. Only Odysseus' own ship survives. The tone gets really, really dark from here. Then we get to Circe, the witch Circe. She transforms Odysseus' men into pigs with help from Hermes. Odysseus resists her magic. They eventually become lovers and stay on the island for a year. Circe later helps him continue his journey home. So this is the goddess that Odysseus banged.
Yeah,
is Circe, who looks like a piece in this painting.
Yeah. And then he decides
to see the underworld after that.
Yeah, he resists her magic. Yeah,
he resists her magic somehow. Then they go to the journey to hell in the underworld. He travels to the land of the dead and meets fallen warriors, his dead mother, these spirits, and he learns suffering awaits him. All humans die. Glory means little in death. The ghost of Achilles, aka Ellie Page, says,
which is wild. Said
he'd rather be a living peasant than king of the dead. The line changes the heroic values of Greek mythology entirely. That is very interesting. Mm-hmm. So they're basically saying the afterlife ain't what you think it is.
Well, because that's the thing. Yeah, it's basically saying, like the gods get bored, and so the gods live through us a lot, because when you're immortal, right? And this was a Greek idea, but it's also kind of like an interesting theological idea. Like if you believe in a Platonic realm, or an immortal realm, or immortal energy, or a consciousness beyond us,
right?
You'd say, what's the one weakness to that? The one weakness would always be that there's no meaning. You have no struggle.
Right.
You get bored. You can't experience yourself. You can't.
Right.
You can't get the tingle.
You can't get the tingle.
You can't get that tingle.
Which, make no mistake, I live for a little thing called the tingle. Which brings us to the sirens.
Mm-hmm. So this is your favorite part.
So the sirens,
or as we like to call them, Chinese honeypots.
It's just what it is. The sirens sing irresistible songs that lure sailors to their death. They hear these songs and they want to bang these girls girls out.
Yeah.
The sirens, I mean, for me, I just call them the Latinas.
I call them love you long time. I think they were going, Odysseus, love you long time.
Love
pussy,
you long
pussy,
time.
cheap pussy, love you long time.
So Odysseus wants to hear them without dying. So he plugs his crew's ears with earwax, and then he ties himself to the mast of the ship, and they go through this strait of where the sirens are, and it becomes a symbol for resisting temptation through restraint. What Odysseus didn't know, though, is the sirens, if anybody got through and resisted them, then they have to kill themselves.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So all the sirens kill themselves after that.
What we wanted to say to Odysseus at this time is there's an easier way. It's called just get yourself in the program.
It's just what it is.
That's the only way to resist is the program.
Get yourself in the program. Get yourself in the group text. So then he gets through that. Then we have Scylla and Carbidius. Odysseus must sail between Scylla, which is a six-headed monster, and Carbidius, which is a giant whirlpool. He chooses the lesser evil and sacrifices some men to save the ship. Sometimes you got to just sacrifice some people.
Sometimes you got to do a little thing called Saving Private Ryan.
It's just what it is. You got to sacrifice some people, and you just whatever.
Yeah.
It's what it is. You get in the whirlpool or you get eaten by the monster. But listen, guy, I got to go. I mean, I'm Odyssey. Who the hell are you? And
Yeah. So basically, the lesson here is sometimes leadership means you gotta have some losses or some unavoidable losses. You gotta choose.
Basically, the only way out is in. It's what it is.
Yeah.
So then the next thing is we have the cattle of Helios. Despite warnings, Odysseus' starving crew, they told them on Helios, you cannot touch these cows. He goes, my guys are not going to touch the cows, don't worry. But the crew's starving, so they kill the sacrificed cattle belonging to the sun god Helios, and they start to eat them. So then Zeus gets pissed and destroys their ship. Odysseus is now the sole survivor. Everybody's dead but my man Odysseus. So then they go to Calypso, which sounds like a sandals resort in Jamaica, and they keep Odysseus trapped on the island for years, and they offer him immortality if he stays, but he refuses. The key idea being even eternal pleasure cannot replace home and human connection, which I think is true.
Well, that's where he realizes, like I said, that paradise is sort of a hell because there's no meaning.
Right.
And so that's when he realizes, I want to be Odysseus. I got to get back to my girl.
So then the third and final part is the return to Ithaca, where he was setting out to go 20 years ago. With Athena's help, Odysseus finally returns home disguised as a beggar. He tests who is loyal, he reconnects with his son Telemachus, and he plans revenge. Penelope creates a contest. Who can string Odysseus' massive bow? None of the suitors can do it. Odysseus reveals himself and massacres the suitors in one of the most violent scenes in Greek mythology, and order is restored.
Yeah, he kills all the guys that were vying for that Penelope pussy.
Right.
And he returns home. She hugs him. She waited 20 years for this guy.
Right, so then they say that Odysseus, unlike the other mythic heroes who rely mainly on strength, Odysseus survives through intelligence, deception, and adaptability as the first first modern man, it says. The first modern man. And he's complicated, he's heroic, manipulative, traumatized, prideful.
Yeah.
He's got a little PTSD from the war trauma. Many modern scholars read the Odyssey as a story about returning home after war. Odysseus often feels emotionally distant and paranoid. He can't really get, his life kind of falls apart. And then the monsters, they reflect these distorted versions of reality. Cyclops, lawless brutality. Lotus eaters, passive escapism. Suitors, corruption within civilization itself. All these things still happening today.
Yeah. It's a real psychological tale. It's a tale about the human experience. It's a tale about temptation. It's a tale about psychology. It's a tale about meaning.
Right.
It's a tale about loyalty. It's a tale about realism versus idealism.
Right.
It's a real
It's also too like
guide. It's a guide
with relationships, because it's like, what does home mean? And it's also, everybody always says, like, if you've picked the right relationship, like, it's going to be really, really hard, but you get the benefits at the end of your life.
Right.
Like, you want to run in different puss right now. It's these easy temptations, these immediate gratifications. But if you delay the gratification, that's when you really get the true pleasure. That's what they say.
And it's a story about ego, how it can lead you astray. It's a story about avarice. It's a story about, I think, mostly self-discovery.
Right.
So he goes through all these trials. He goes through all these temptations. He goes through all these mistakes, and he realizes who he is, and he chooses who he is.
Right.
Because there was moments throughout it where he could have got off the course of who he was.
Right.
He could have become a god's plaything, and experienced eternal sex and love and never die and never get old. But that wasn't him.
That ain't me, babe.
So it's not me. He realizes this is me, babe.
Right.
and me is with Penelope, babe, and me is being home in Ithaca and ruling over this small little place.
Right.
And all these things that I thought maybe I wanted, I didn't want because it's not me, babe.
It's what it
you know that
is.
story? It ain't me,
Babe.
Is that Cher and Sonny?
Yes, and then
they got divorced.
And I'm going to go see this movie when it comes out. This is the first movie I'm looking forward to in a long time since Barbie. And this movie, and make absolutely no mistake, I'm going to try to go to a showing where it's just me in the theater because I'm absolutely going to move my monkey to Elliot Page.
Yeah. Now, can we just end this episode by looking at a few of the trailers people have been making with Elliot Page?
And then, of course, we'll read out the newest members of the Patreon. But I would like to see some of these trailers.
Yeah,
now, are these AI or these are the trailers
These
that
are
the movie...
AI, but listen, the internet, when I mean the internet, there's people on the internet who are very, very funny. Like if you're gonna do it, be funny.
Be funny.
Yeah, just don't repeat shit or be funny. So this is like, I feel bad for Elliot Page in a way because this is gonna hurt her feelings. She's just catching.
I don't think
strays.
he cares anymore.
I don't think he cares at all. But he's catching strays. But they're doing all these and they're putting Elliot Page in.
So this isn't real.
No, of course it's not real. So and everyone she just gets absolutely beat to shit because she's in a male role.
Yeah.
So it's just there's tons of them where now look, do the Troy one. This is funny.
Yeah.
This one, the second one, yeah.
Yeah.
Watch this. So this was with Brad Pitt. You remember this is Troy?
Of course, yeah.
So here comes this bitch. This is just so brutal. Show the ones where like they act where she has no shirt on and they have the scars under.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brutal.
Here's what her open up.
Oh, yeah. She can't open it. She can't open the jar.
Yeah, it's just what it is.
There she is.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's just
unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, really ripped though.
Yeah, I mean, rip with the scars under the tits.
Yeah.
So there's a few of them where she has no shirt on. You can see the scars.
Now, does the actual trailer for the movie look good though?
I haven't seen it.
Have you seen the actual trailer? Nick, have you seen the trailer for the movie?
No.
You haven't seen it? You're not in because you're a movie guy. You don't like this stuff?
I haven't seen it, so this is exciting.
Let's see a minute. Can we watch this without getting dinged on YouTube? Is that all right?
I don't know.
Yeah, just let's not do it so we don't get dinged. We'll watch it afterwards.
Want to watch it on the Patreon? I'd like to see it on the Patreon.
Well, we can't get dinged.
Get dinged on the Patreon. No.
Yeah, it's interesting. Now, just quickly, Jesse, do you think this was part of the plan?
It's an interesting theory. I don't. I respect Christopher Nolan as an artist. Like why would he do that? He's made so many good movies. Like he doesn't need to do that.
Right.
As like a propaganda stunt to cast her as.
You think he did?
Although it is kind of suspicious. Why would he cast her as Achilles? There's so many fucking
so many actors,
badass actors that he could have cast.
Yeah. I mean, who knows these days? But I mean,
it could just be a family friend thing. Like it could be like my daughter's friends with him.
This movie's going to be huge though. Right?
Oh, dude,
it's going to crush in the box.
There's no doubt that we're talking about it because of that. The casting.
Everyone is talking.
It's a big propaganda push, and movies are in trouble. So maybe
it's interesting. Tell us what you think in the comment section.
Yeah, comment, like, subscribe.
Love to hear your comments.
Of course, at the end of every episode, we read out the newest members of the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/History Hyenas to get involved. This is probably our favorite part of the show, and we have a lot of fun over at Patreon. And we're gonna have a lot of fun over there today because I have 1 hour of sleep and I'm ready to just let loose. So leading off the list, lifeguard on duty at Epstein Island.
Put him on the list.
Really? Wow.
That is so inventive.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is very inventive.
Okay, so we might have this
is LeBron James.
Okay.
Came out early, could win.
Crop circles.
Drexler.
Okay.
Ooh, strong out the gate.
Noah S. Then we got Jeffrey, like his jizz lanes waxed well.
Pretty good. Okay. I'm gonna Drexler it.
Okay. Ferdinand Berthleson, Barsag Abanyayan. Then we got Jesus, Israel, and hates Frisbees.
Wait a second. It's really funny though.
He put is Rael.
Yeah, Tony, that's for the end of the year. Okay. Jesus is real and hates Frisbees. Very good.
Tristan Huxtable. Then we got Cacao, Chrissy's strip club. Oh, Cacao. That's what it is.
They got you. I love how they get you. Yeah, Tony, that's for the end of the year.
Cuzzy Wuzzy, come on my tummy next to my mummy.
So he's laying with his mom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we just can't do that.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Then we got Justin. Make no mistake, I'm a real black kid, but I'm using more than one name. Cummings.
Drexler. Strong list.
Then we got J Baby 2 Trill. Ronnie Wrong Days.
Ways on Hyena.
Drexler.
Ronnie Wrong Days.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah,
Yachty.
Yeah, what do you think, Drexler?
Yeah, Drexler.
Then we got Jamal, the Dallas Maverick Stevenson. Okay. Then we got Need a Quick HH hiatus so we can start the Third Reich. And then we got God gave Helen Keller a working fume detector. So
Ladder 14.
And this is a guy put Tony for all these.
Caitlyn Jenner's driving instructor.
Oh, Jesus.
Ways on Hyena.
Drexler, good one.
Then we got
She killed the guy.
Yeah. Then we got drove through the hood and my car got a couple of dings, drove through again, and now a couple of dings got my car.
Ladder 14.
What it
This is a walked into one list.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, and these are all good though.
And the thing is, we don't choose the list. The list chooses
List
us.
chooses us. So Tony, you got your work cut out for you.
Then we got white guy named John Henry. Wish I was Leroy from Waist Down.
Got it.
Tiger Maximus. Ian O'Brien. Mr. AZT. Ballyphemus and Odysseus Puss. Wow, that's crazy that we're talking about the
it's the hugest thing right now. Everyone's talking about it. Yeah, it's like the hugest thing on the internet.
Ballyphemus and Odysseus Puss. Charlie is odd. Evan Lee. I like my coffee Leroy and my tea Roy Lee.
What am I missing there? Roy Lee.
Like coffee Leroy, and then because it's coffee black, and then my tea Roy Lee because Asian tea Roy Lee.
Got it.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, it's catchy.
Reaper of Mars, Ricardo. Not a muzzy, but I will put my face in her rug.
It's a decent one.
Okay.
Decent. Chicken finger. Yeah, chicken finger.
Larry Nasser's receptionist talking about mental gymnastics. Oh, Larry Nasser's receptionist talk about mental gymnastics. Got it.
Talk about mental gymnastics.
Yeah,
Yeah. Tried for it. He went for it.
Luis Fernando Martinez Leon.
Wow.
That's what it is.
God.
Salsa monkey.
That's what you call ice Velcro.
That's what it is. Nick went peeing on that one.
Yeah.
Then we got bong hits from the
Christ. Jesus. This is a very walked into one list.
On this episode, Chrissy talks to Josephine's trainer on which one of his very old closets he should come out of.
Ways on Hyena.
Soph. Then we got my girl uses my nuts as a scratch and sniff.
Chicken finger.
Then we got AOC, please fist my asshole until I'm paralyzed. It's just what it is.
I'm going to put him on the list.
All right, why not?
Just because it's so funny.
Yeah, it's just very funny. It's time to criminalize being a wigger. Okay. Small Scrabble fingers, aka Squeak Squad employee Sandra D.
Okay.
Western Hemi Muzzy with a hairy hummus hose. Hummus hose is fine.
Hose. You're not winning, but welcome to the lexicon.
Like hummus cannon.
Yeah, hummus hose. I like it.
Samwise, Andrea, Uncle Russell's history.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I can't disparage your family.
You can't do it. Not the demo. Then we got Timmy Riley, Blake Weinstein. Then we got Portnoy takes one bite so he can sell the rest.
Ways on
I
Hyena.
don't get it.
He's a Jew.
Oh, he takes one bite so he can sell the rest. Yeah, I got it.
Can Yannis's wife tell Chrissy to stop yawning on the pod? I don't get it. Appliance Dodger. Amin Kanpur. Then we got Shakespeare presents George Frenzy. Okay.
Ladder 14.
Can you read that again?
Shakespeare presents in all frenzy. I don't get it.
It's just, yeah.
Ashley Miller, Lane 23, Billy, redistributing Diva Cups at AOC's fume shelter for lost squeaks and battered ginger snaps.
Okay, he went for a lot.
In the Ass Tonight by $3 Bill Collins.
Put him on the list.
Okay.
Put him on the list. Yes, tonight. We got a contender. Yeah.
In the when you get it, it's very funny.
Instead of in the air tonight. Yeah, Put him on the list.
Very, very funny. Adam Brabant, Sunju's Art of More. Okay.
Sunju's Art of More.
Another Jewish joke.
What is it?
Sun Tzu Art of War, Sun Jew Art of More, meaning greedy Jew.
Yeah.
Okay. Babe, the glucose monitor says my sugar is low, so put your pump in and fill my tank up.
Okay.
Ace Hawk, Daniel Stellini, Bush Light and Fireball, Alec Wolfgang, Miles M, Brandon C. Hold on, pause the podcast. I just shit my pants.
Okay.
Alicia, Ben Bratton, scared of Mike Obama's last spread, but want to drown in 7 inches.
Yeah, the lake. Yeah.
Okay.
Mike Obama. Mike Obama on its own might have won.
Mike Obama.
Just Mike Obama.
Mike Obama.
Yeah, just Mike Obama is very funny.
Ryan, Joe, Danny Cardozo. My ALS makes for a challenging wank. Call me Glue Gehrig. Okay.
We're putting it up. What do we do? Put it on the list.
Yeah,
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
if they really have ALS, I mean, they're making the best of it.
Yeah, but you know, we're hypocrites because we're very sensitive about racial stuff, but then, like, the disabled's fair game. I mean, what are we supposed to do here?
Or if the kid has ALS, then we don't know.
Maybe
That's
he's got ALS.
That's why we put it on. Listen, maybe the kid has ALS.
I mean, because you know what? Technically, that's one of the best ones of all time.
Yeah. Leroy's Boneless Jungle Ham, a.k.a. Watermelon. Okay.
Oh,
Ladder 14.
Christ.
Hey, I don't know.
I mean, this, Jesus Christ. Tony, just put this whole list.
At the end of the year.
At the end of the, Jesus Christ.
Zugs.
Jesse's cracking up hard.
Andrew Falconer. My Tourette's flares up in East New York, a.k.a. Leroy Ticks. Okay.
This whole list is for the fucking walk-in one.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Juden, a.k.a. The Diary of Chan Frank.
Ladder 14.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Juden. Guys,
I mean,
what do you want to do?
I mean, we got to put it at the end of the year.
Tiger, Hidden Juden, The Diary of Chan Frank.
Yeah.
I mean, it deserves to be on the list.
So then put it on the list.
But it's also a walked into one. Put it on the list.
Put it on the list.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Juden is very funny.
Kyle Ramos, Matthew Guarnerno, Preston, Brett Glowkowski, Twerk, Wind and Fire.
Chicken Finger.
Yeah. Oil Money House, call it a sandcastle. Matt Rymanowski, Jeff Simpson. Will peptides fix my crooked piece?
Chicken Finger.
Deep Throat Cuckboat. Lake Monkey, sick of all the Somali pirates. Moved to the Keys and all I got was a peptide-induced domestic violence charge.
Shouldn't hit women, guy.
Yeah. Jacob Ponce, Jason Locke, Dakota Wiggins, Asian Pirate, I don't steal treasure, I fry plain.
End of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got Cardinal George Pell, Marcus Dillon, and Sebastian Miles, and Adam Moreno.
Welcome. All those other guys. We want you to know if you just give your name, you're straight to the back. You're here for the business, and we appreciate you just as much.
Just as much. Okay, so here's the list.
Yeah.
Lifeguard on duty at Epstein's Island.
We're going to Drexler that right off the bat.
Okay, so we know that.
Yeah.
Then we got AOC, please fist my asshole until I'm paralyzed.
I want to keep that around for the funny factor.
Keep it around. Then we got In the Ass Tonight by $3 Bill Collins.
Keep it around.
Okay, and then we have Crouching Tiger, Hidden Juden, a.k.a. The Diary of Chan Frank. Oh, and we also have My ALS Makes for a Challenging Wank, call me Glue Gehrig.
Keep that around. We got 4.
Chan Frank keep around as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So it's between AOC, please fist my asshole until I'm paralyzed. In the Ass Tonight by $3 Bill Collins. My ALS Makes for a Challenging Wank, call me Glue Gehrig. Or Crouching Tiger, Hidden Juden, a.k.a. The Diary of Chan Frank.
All 4 of these speak to me. All 4 of these speak to me.
Okay.
So this is a tough one. This is going to have to be made as a group.
Okay. So
there's no clear winner here.
So for me, because it caught me late, I like In the Ass Tonight by $3 Bill Collins. I think a $3 bill one is really, really hard to get, and that's one. In the Ass Tonight is very funny.
Very funny.
In the Ass Tonight by Phil Collins would have won.
Yes.
So that's my pick.
Yeah. Okay.
Boys.
Yeah, I like In the Ass Tonight. I could hear the soundtrack going, but I'm going with Glue Gehrig.
Glue Gehrig is a strong one.
Yeah,
Nick?
Yeah, I like Chan Frank and Ass Tonight also.
Okay.
Whoa. So it's down to me. Whoa. So
we have a vote. We have 2 votes for In the Ass Tonight.
No, he went.
Ass Tonight and Chan Frank both.
But you have to
which
pick
one
one.
you have to pick?
One.
Yeah.
Ass.
In the ass tonight. So
got
it's
2 votes.
So it could
still down to me.
Still down to you because he didn't pick that one. He picked Lou Gehrig.
So
do you pick In the Ass Tonight
so these
or
are 3 different ones.
Well, In the Ass Tonight has 2 votes. If you gave it a 3rd vote, it wins. If you give Lou Gehrig a vote, then tied.
And we got to go to the people. Can you read them one more time?
Okay. AOC, please fist my asshole until I'm paralyzed.
Okay, we're going to direct to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the Ass Tonight by $3 Bill Collins.
Keeping it around.
My ALS makes for a challenging wank. Call me Glue Gehrig. Or Crouching Tiger, Hidden Juden, a.k.a. The Diary of Chan Frank.
All right, I'm going to fuck this up.
Okay.
I'm going with, who'd you pick?
Glue Gehrig.
I'm going with Glue Gehrig.
Okay.
So we're tied.
So we have a tie.
Yeah.
So now,
I'm going with Glue, that's the best one.
the fans,
Yeah,
you
you
have
gotta
to go to
decide.
patreon.com/History Hyenas. Is it My ALS Makes for a Challenging Wank, Call Me Glue Gehrig? Or In the Ass Tonight by $3 Bill Collins? Those are the contenders. Now, people have been saying, is there a way to put a poll up somewhere?
Can
on
we-
Patreon?
there
Can we
is
do
a
that?
way.
Is there a way?
There's got to be a way.
Or I guess we.
Is there a way on Patreon to do that?
Or we could just make a separate post, and I guess everyone would vote there.
No, but they're saying there's a way to do a poll.
But if the separate post is that, because they say then it gets lost in the comments and the messages, and so let's think of a cleaner way to do it. But
We'll figure it out. We'll do a poll. I think there's a way to do a poll.
okay.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/History Hyenas. Go over there right now. We got another episode.